when you think about like hits that you guys have had, Cupid, Peaches and Cream. I was way too young to say. Only You, like, you know, all of those are like really timeless tracks. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Check-In with Black Menswear. I'm your host, NeAndre Broussard, here in season 6. We talking about being built different. I got an amazing brother here, Grammy-winning vocalist, icon in the R&B space, my brother Q Parker, man. Welcome to the Check-In, brother.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here.
Nah, man, thank you for joining us all the way straight out to ATL. Shout out, you know, here in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
And loving it too. You know, I left cold weather, man. So
Yeah,
80 degrees.
it's always sunny down here, man. Yeah. No, man. Well, first of all, welcome. I always open up my episodes the same way. I wanna get into the mind of my guests. So I like to ask this question: what's one quote or one statement or mantra or something that you've heard over time that really just stuck with you, that really kind of helps define who you are today?
Man, that's a great way to start this. I live by quotes and mottos, and so this whole sit down could just be on just
full
that.
of quotes, yeah.
But I'll give you two that are at the top. The first one is mentors share with me: when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your choices.
Yeah.
And that to me just spoke volumes. I never forgot it. And it just kind of pushes me to just make the great choices for my body, my mental space, my family, myself personally, my career. Choices, man, show themselves in just how you present yourself.
Right.
And then the second one would be just my life's motto, which is regimen, consistency equals results. If I establish a regimen and I do that thing consistently, results are imminent.
Yeah, they gotta happen, right?
Yeah.
I love that. It's the first quote about being born looking like your parents, but you die like your choices. I mean, that's profound. I had another gentleman last season that echoed that same sentiment, and it just makes you think about, you know, what you do is who you become.
Man, I mean, you know, especially as you're aging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say it's like a 10-year span. What you do in your 20s shows in your 30s. What you do in your 30s shows in your 40s. And so me approaching 50 years old next year, I plan on being, I've already made a mandate that I'm going to see a healthy 95 plus years. I'm a grandfather now. And so, you know, I want to make sure my grandbabies, man, I'm around to see them grow up and do all those things. So the things that I'm doing now is going to set me up to being able to have that life where I can really watch my grandchildren.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, let's take it a few years back, right?
Let's go.
You've been in the industry for, you said you know, knocking on 50, so I can say that you've been in the industry for a few decades now.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Next year it will be 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Go back to day zero.
Wow.
Right? Because day zero is being like, we gonna do something. We gonna do this.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind as the group is coming together? You guys like, hey, let's make this music. Like, walking me through that.
Day zeros were full of rehearsals. It was full of watching the greats before us inspire us. And so there was many days of us hovering around the television, watching Jodeci and Boyz II Men and Silk and all of those great groups saying one day, like, that is going to be us.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, again, regimen, consistency equals results, because we established a regimen that said that we were going to rehearse, we were going to be the best at this thing. What was so crazy during that time, it was just so much traffic. If you think about the 90s era, so many boy groups were out.
Yeah, for sure.
112, Jagged, Drew Hill, Next, Silk, Blackstreet, like, you could just, it's
long,
like 40 of us.
It's a long list.
And so, you know, we just made it, we wanted to make sure that we would stick out. And so when that opportunity came, preparation is the greatest showing of faith. That's another quote.
Come on.
All right, we're going to prepare so well that when our opportunity come, we're already ready.
Yeah.
And so day zeros was just a lot of just putting the work in. And the day that we did meet Puffy, man, we seized the moment.
Yeah. What kind of just like sheer confidence do you have to be able to say, I'm gonna take a risk on the music industry? Because that's a thing that we've seen it, gobble people up and spit them out, and but you guys be like, you know what, my name is Q, damn it, like, you know what I mean, like I can do this. I will be like, what is it taking you to be able to say, I'm gonna take this risk? And like I say, I already done the work and the consistency comes in there, but like you got to start somewhere.
I think for me, I grew up playing sports, and I apply athletics to life. So many life lessons in athletics, and one of the things, you have to know that you're the man, and you have to believe in yourself. You put in the work so that you can perform. Great coach by the name of Deion Sanders said, you practice like it's the game, so when it's the game, it feels like practice. Mm-hmm. And so that was just my mindset. And so joining the group, I just married my mindset with theirs. Yeah. And now we became this incredible team. We became like the New England Patriots, the 90s Bulls, where there was really no weak link. There was no kink in the armor. And to be honest with you, I believe we just knew that even though so many others passed on us, we knew we had the chops. We knew we had what it took. Mm-hmm. We were just waiting on the right opportunity to present itself. And when it did, I mean, we was off to the races.
Yeah, man. What's like that, the first, like, go back to like thinking about your first concert, backstage, being backstage. What do you hear? What's going through your mind? Do you hear the crowd? Do you not hear the crowd? Are your hands, what Eminem say, palms sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti? Like what?
It's all of that, but it's a lot of that, and it's also make sure you got your note. You remember your note. Don't mess up the steps. Everybody feel good? How we feel? Yeah. Let's go over it one more time before they say, ladies, give it up for. Yeah. And because once you're out there, it's almost like everything just blacks out, because again, we've prepared so well. Right. Now the game feel like practice. This is no different than we've done all these other times. It's just a massive crowd in front of us. Yeah. And we were just built for proving ourselves. And in the beginning, no one knows who you are, no one knows your name, no one knows your song or any of that. It's just about the raw talent. And man, we put in the reps to make sure. It's just like Steph Curry. He's automatic because he's put up many reps. Yeah. We put up the reps, man. And so we knew that once the moment came, it's a layup. Yeah. Yeah, layup.
So now I'm gonna go through this musical journey with you then, right? You got music that's coming out now. I'm gonna go back to that first album. Yeah. That first album, that self-titled album, what song would you say like truly embodied who you were?
Gotcha.
At that time,
I would say Only You. My role in 112 was, well, let me go back. So there was a prerequisite for becoming a member of 112. We wanted to make sure that our group was going to be a four-legged support system. Mm-hmm. No weak link, no. Everybody had to be able to carry their own. Everybody had to be able to drive the vehicle if called upon. And so in doing that, when it's so equally talented, we all had to fulfill a role. And my role in the group was I was smooth, laid back. I brought the sexiness, even from a vocal. My instrument was just super melodic. I didn't have to be the guy that was belting out the big note, the money note, or when the bridge came, just taking you home. My role was to just alley-oop it, throw it up there, set the play, and then allow your dogs to just come in and just yoke that thing. Yeah. And I just really, really got good at just mastering my 25% of this collective 100. And so if I had to identify that to a song, I would say Only You. I was the first voice that anybody heard when the group came out, because I had the first verse, the first line of the first song ever heard. Yes. And again, it's just like a point guard. It was my job to set the play and then, pass it off to my guys. And, I passed it to Mike on the second verse, passed it to Slim, and it was just the game had began. Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about like your your travel through like the music, the discography, was there a particular era that brought you the most joy?
I would say the era that brought the most joy was probably the third album, Part 3. I think Part 3 was the moment. It was the third album. You know, we had experienced a massive success with albums number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think number 3 was the most potent 112 because at that point, everybody knew exactly who they were. We knew the sound we wanted. We had mastered this hip hop and R&B, being able to merge them together so perfectly. And we are now mature. We've now grown. You know, album 1, I was 19, or we were all kind of 18, 19. Well, album 3, we're now 22, 23. So we've experienced a little bit. We've grown.
Yes.
Our worlds and our lives are expanding. I think at that time Slim was a father. And so we unks to Slim's first son. It's just a lot of things happening. And so to be able to then embody what our lives was going on, what was going on in our lives, and putting that into the music. And I think to this day, I think that's one of the people's favorite albums because I believe it was like the pinnacle of now, no pun intended, boys to men.
Yeah. When you when you think about like hits that you guys have had, Cupid, Peaches and Cream. I was way too young to say. Only You, like, you know, all of those are like really timeless tracks. Like, what goes into making a timeless track?
I think the most important piece of that is just authenticity. You know, one of the reasons why I love our discography is, you know, those records we were true to the music. We didn't force anything. And that's the beauty of being in a group because it's a team. Yeah. We can bounce ideas off. We can say, hey, what were you going through last week? That's what happened? Okay, bam, let's put it in a song. And because it's a real occurrence, now every night we go out, we're just being our authentic selves. It's rare for 112 to actually have gotten somebody to write just us a song. We've always had our input in any of the songs that anybody has ever heard from the group and the songs that were on the album. We always had input. And so even after 30 years, you mentioned Cupid and Only You, those songs are almost 30 years old. And so the reason why I can still feel a connection to those songs is because
it's real.
I remember what I was going through. I remember like that was a real thing where the conversation from Cupid was something that happened in one of our relationships. And so I think that's the thing that forever connects me to the songs. It forever connects the world to the songs because these songs are the soundtracks of our upbringing and our childhood and our teenage and college years. And so it's always amazing when through my travels, you know, people will say, man, your song got me through college, or your song was my first dance of the wedding, or man, it got me through some rough times. You know, those were real songs. And even at such an early age was able to really connect with people in that way, man. It's just the thing that I've just cherished the most about the journey.
What is it? What's that feeling that like the emotion that comes over you when somebody looks you in the face like, man, your song? You know what I mean? Like that.
It never gets old. Yeah. It never gets old because that's the greatest appreciation. You know, we're in this together. And so when I say things like next year I'm celebrating 30 years, no, we're celebrating 30 years because we produced the music, but you all had a role to play in it too. Because you bought the tickets, you bought the CDs, you became a part of the fan club. You gave us your input. You say when a song you didn't like versus a one you really loved. And so it's inclusive. We're celebrating 30 years. And so that part never gets old because for me, it's always been a we and a us.
I think that appreciation is kind of like your confirmation or the affirmation for that. Okay, that one did what we thought it was going to do. Exactly. That one did what we thought it was going to do. That one did what we knew they wasn't going to do. Yeah. Told y'all not to put that one out. Like,
we had a few of those too.
Yeah. to come up with an album with a song, people, they call them projects, right? Now, to actually have a project done, it requires multiple people to be a part of it, especially with a group, right?
Yeah.
Group, solo, but it's never one individual. You have producers, you have engineers. Who was one of the best producers you've ever worked with?
Wow, man, we had many of them.
You had many.
We had many of them. But I'm gonna go back into the group again. As I mentioned earlier, the goal for 112 was to be self-contained, and Deron Jones, member of the group, is one of the best musicians, producers that I know, and a lot of the songs that became so popular from the group, he produced them. So big shout out to Deron, man.
Big shout out to Deron.
And I mean, he's just one of the many, because I can say Stevie J, I can say Puffy, I can say Chucky Thompson, rest in peace. I can say Tim and Bob. I can say, man, it all of the hit men. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have access. You just drop names. We work with this person, with that person. You talked about y'all bridge the gap between R&B and hip hop, R&B and rap. Yeah,
and it was special to do that.
Yeah.
What kind of balance do you bring to to create that kind of sound to where it's all right, yes, we're in a genre of R&B, but we doing something different.
Yeah.
How did you guys find your distinctive voice or distinctive sound that separated y'all from the 30 and 40 other?
Yeah. Great question. So initially, I'll take you back to the audition. Puffy knew the talent that he was getting, I believe, because he knew that we were 4 lead singers. He knew that we were self-contained. We were writing our own songs and producing our own music. Those are the 2 attributes I believe that had the highest interest for him. And then once we started to get into the game, we understood that, hey, we have a value, and we know exactly what that value is. And it was just easy for us, man, to go in the studio, do the work, connect with the idea of the stuff that we wanted the people to understand and know. And for us, it was just committing to who we know we are, who we want to be, and the fact that this wasn't just a one-off. This was all or nothing.
Yeah.
This was all or nothing, man. We didn't look at it as just a stop. This had to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we was making some life decisions.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to go to college on a full ride, but it's I go there, or do I take this once in a lifetime opportunity? And I'm glad that I chose this, because I've never worked a job in my life.
Yeah.
This has been the only form of work I've really done.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think about. My wife's a big, well, if we can figure something else out, college will technically always be there.
Always be there.
College at 25, 35, 45, 55 if I want to.
Yeah.
But as opportunities present themselves, do we want to take this opportunity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if it works. If God brought it to me today, and it's this is what I'm telling you, then it kind of becomes all right. Now granted, I always think about what I can fall back on, but if I never have to fall back on it because I followed the path that I was supposed to be on, and it worked. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
All right, so I know I heard you say this probably a little earlier today. You snuck in that you a grandfather.
Yeah.
Proud grandfather.
Proud.
You know what I mean?
You see the smile?
Yeah, it brings joy out. What's your grandbaby? Boys, girls?
3.
3?
Yeah, I have the oldest is Leo, and then a set of twins, fraternal twins, Demi and Dash.
Man, so as a parent, because I'm a parent.
Yes.
But I'm not a grandparent. And I look at my parents, and I'm like, whoa, who are these people? Because when they were parents, they were not the grandparents that they are today. So in that road to fatherhood and being a father who was in the industry, you know what I mean? I know that there was some things that you had to overcome, times that you were apart. But what is it like to be a father and a grandfather?
It's everything. I'm really big on legacy. From the work that I do philanthropically into just who I am today. It's all about ensuring that the legacy of Q Parker is strong. And so being a father of a son, it means a lot because he carries the line. But then also stepping into grandparenthood, it's nothing like it. I mean, it's a joy and it's an excitement that is, man, it's just priceless. You know, I now understand why my grandmother and grandfather was just so special. And I understand why grandparents all over the world are special, because it's almost like we wake up to just love. We wake up to provide joy and happiness. And then if we get tired, we send them on home. But I mean, it's everything, man. You know, if I've spent too many days away from my grandchildren, man, my heart is throbbing to get to them. And just to see the way that they look at you, you know, the way that I look at them. And then I just know that, and I'm excited about the line and the legacy of Q Parker is still flourishing and it's still active. And that's something that I'm really, really proud of.
Man, that reminds me, I need to spend, like, have my boys spend more time with my parents. Like, we both, my wife and I were, with us living in Dallas, my parents are in Houston, her parents are in Florida. Yeah. And so we try to do as often as we can, but we can go more.
Yeah, man. It's just, and I love being active too. Like, I love to be present. Yeah. Grandfather, you know, if too many days have gone by, my 4-year-old grandson, he's calling me like, GP, where are you? Yeah. You know, can you come get me? Yeah. Absolutely I can and want to. Yeah. So, man, the smile should say it all, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love Black men being present and their children and their grandchildren, because the media tells us we're not. Yeah. I know ones that I know, they are. They are. And because, like I say, we thinking about that legacy. We're trying to preserve that legacy and empower our next generations to go above and beyond what we did.
And you know what? And even to add more to the question you asked me about the hip hop, we wanted to just sing ballads. And again, we from the church. So the easiest transition from being raised in the church is singing love songs. Yeah. However, Puffy was just this hip hop dude. And, you know, that was the key component that also, as you said, helped us slice through the traffic. And so when you married hip hop with R&B, especially during a time where hip hop was starting to take over, a lot of artists who couldn't make that transition, for lack of a better way, it was a decline. But then here we are coming with these hard banging tracks, and then we're putting our gospel-ish R&B kind of angelic harmonies and all of that on top of these most banging hip-hop tracks. Well, it gave us the opportunity to not only be on the R&B shows, but now we were doing shows where we would be the only R&B act, and it just was full of hip-hop artists, full of rappers. Yeah. And it was kind of like we had the best of both worlds, because you couldn't out-sing us with the ballads, right? But you couldn't mess with us because we had the records in the clubs. And I'll never forget, Puffy would always say, yo, if I can't play it in the Tunnel, and the Tunnel was this well-known nightclub in New York, that's where he would go test the records. If I can't play it in the Tunnel, we're not releasing it. And we didn't understand it because we were like, yo, man, we want to put out a ballad. We're an R&B group. But to his genius, we just stayed with making sure you was able to move. When you look at our catalog, we're best known for our up-tempos and the commercialization of our records, but we're best loved for the ballads. Once you became a real fan, you knew that within the album, we had the ballads and all of that. But the reality is we never released a commercial ballad. And you would say Cupid is a ballad, but tempo-wise, Cupid is really a slow mid. So we never had the In the Rain, we never released one of those type of records. But people knew we could do that. But again, to the brilliance of Puffy, it just sliced us away from all of the other R&B groups who were just singing ballads, and it limited them in where they could go.
Yeah. Would you say, as we progress through the time, that today's the genre of R&B is dying, or would you say it's evolving? Because you do have individuals like yourself who have been in the industry for so long and still releasing quality music.
Yeah.
Then you have people that are just getting into it and releasing different kinds of music. What's your perspective on today's current state of R&B?
So I also believe in space and grace, right? And I love when I get this question, because if you can imagine, if you ask the Whispers or the Commodores or the OJs, what do you think about this group Puffy just brought out,
Right.
all 112?
Right.
They probably will say, it ain't our style of R&B, but they gave us the space and the grace to interpret the genre how we saw fit. And so as time continues to go on, I'll never be the OG that's like, it ain't sound like what I sound. I'm never going to be that guy. And so I give the space and the grace for today's artists to interpret the genre the way that creatively it comes to them.
Yeah.
May not necessarily be my cup of tea, but I'll never like shun their creativity, because they should be allowed to interpret it the way that they feel it. Now, to the R&B fans who want the kind of R&B that they grew up on, then I could say that people like myself and other artists are still committed to that as well.
Yeah.
But it has nothing against, or it does nothing against what the younger artists are doing today. I always say, if it's just not your cup of tea,
Then
don't drink it.
Who would you say, and if you were to say somebody today, probably is one of the most underrated vocalists out there? And I'll talk about vocalists because that was funny. Like, as we were prepping for the show, I hear you just who would you say, in the current genre, somebody you like, I really rock with them. They kind of underrated, but they got some good. They vocally
New or like
strong.
from my era?
I would say both. So one from your era, but then also somebody who knew that you might be like, yo, they cold too.
I would say from my era, I'm gonna give shout out to my brother RL from Next.
Okay.
Super talented, man.
Yeah.
Right his behind off. Amazing vocalist. And when you talk about some of the better vocalists, I don't think his name is mentioned as much as it should be. So big shout out to as I call him, Robert. But then artists of today, man, Chris Brown is just, he's one of my favorites. Vocally, he can do it all.
Yeah.
And he just, man, his batting average is just crazy. Man. Oh, it's crazy. Like, it's almost like he's Steph Curry. He don't miss.
Yeah.
He don't miss, man.
Yeah.
So say what you want to say about Breezy, man, but yo, he's consistent over at least last 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Just been consistent, man. And catalog is
It's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. He's and then one of the things, like, he's been able to balance the space of R&B from love song to high tempo to everything in between. He played a little EDM, techno. Like, he went all. He done some great, really great things, man. When you think about the music you're putting out now, right? Evolution of Romance.
Yeah.
What's the process that you go through now to put out music versus that might be a little bit different than the processes you did before when you had a group? You know what I mean? Now, obviously, there's a difference in how you approach things now. What's that process like?
So I still believe in the team concept. Although I'm a solo artist now, I still believe in the assemblance of having a team. Yeah. So my team, my production team, I'm in Atlanta. Black Elvis, Felly the Voice, Rico Love, Aunt Tario, Jay Bush. We just have a close knit in terms of creativity and how we decide what type of and what form of R&B we want to deliver. And what started as a conversation turned into this movement of romance, because as we sat and just conversed, we was able to identify that, hey man, there's a void. There's so many R&B genre fans from our era that's still wanting the type of R&B that our legends and our OGs delivered. and somebody has to stay locked into that.
Yeah.
And I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And so we decided that romance was a component that's not being the topic as much as it should be. And you know, even though there's been a 12-year difference from me releasing the manual, which is in 2012, to now Evolution of Romance, it was just primarily because I needed to find the space. You know, as a musician, I can always go in and write some songs and produce some songs and sing some songs.
Yeah.
But I don't like to move without a purpose. And so the moment that I locked in on the romance piece of it, I was like, yo, that's the lane that I know that I can deliver consistently, because again, I'm just an R&B dude. Yeah, I can do all the other stuff, but my core, bruh, I'm just an R&B dude.
Yeah.
I know exactly what we signed up for and what I signed up for, and that means, you know, what the sound of R&B should sound like, what the look of R&B should look like, how the walk of R&B, how the talk of R&B, like everything that you need to have in an R&B kit, I got it.
Yeah.
And so just honing in on that and then coming up with the evolution of romance, because again, the evolution, I've evolved since the 19-year-old,
Sure.
but then romance just looks differently too. Romance in the 80s is different than romance in the 90s. And so just marrying those two together is how we just came up with evolution of romance, to bring some romance back into the radio, to bring some romance back into the hearts and homes of these relationships.
Yeah, my sister used to say R&B stands for romance and babies.
That's it.
That's it. I really
Never heard of that, but yes, that's it.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's like young in the industry, right? Like trying to find their way, you know, from a OG like yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I put you in the OG category now.
Yo, it's so funny, man. You know, some of the artists that I mentor and just still work with, man, when they say the OG or they say Unc.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yo, I've made it to, and to be honest with you, man, Unc is a term of endearment.
It sure is.
Know? And so it's a sign of respect.
Yeah.
And so I had to really just embody that, you know, like, yo, I am getting of age. And so I really embody and I receive that level of respect.
Yeah, for sure.
And I carry it, man, with close to me.
For sure.
Because nobody just gives that title without some real regard for who you are. But the one thing that I always preach is, man, authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Be your true authentic self, because you want the records to live for a very long time.
Right.
And the one thing you don't want to do is to be some years into this career and you're singing a song that has no attachment to you. The reason why I can still sing, as I said earlier, all the songs that have aged with me is because I know where they came from. They came from a real place. And so to all the new artists and the young artists, be authentic. Mm-hmm. Sing the song that, you know, you will always be connected to. Because again, if you have a career of longevity, 20 years down the line, that song can still affect people, young and old.
Yeah.
And impact.
Yeah. I remember season 4 of the check-in, I think we had Tank on. And he's talking about his latest album at that point. I said, all right, which song is your favorite on the album?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, don't do that to me. But he gave me one.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you the same question. On the latest album, what track is your favorite and why? And then he was like, bro, that's like my kids. You can't tell me to pick between my favorite child.
It's the same. It's the same. And so I never answer it from that perspective of which is the favorite, but I'll just say one that is special.
Yeah.
And the first is always special. And so I would say BEG, which is an acronym for bringing endless gratitude to your partner, because that just truly embodies romance. I believe if both parties are begging for each other, and again the song says, this ain't the typical beg. We ain't begging because we messed up. We ain't begging because, you know, baby, please, I'm sorry. Like, it's not that beg. This ain't that song. Mm-hmm. This beg is bringing endless gratitude, and so that is being chivalrous, that is being thoughtful and doing good deeds. That's the begging we're talking about. And so if both parties are begging for each other in that regard, then the relationship stays in a healthy space. And so I think that being the first single of this new project, when people haven't heard from me as a solo artist in 12 years, I think that just truly embodied what this romance journey was going to be about. So I would say the one that probably is the most special is the first one that just started this romance movement.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Big. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let me put that on for me and wifey, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then I'll give a special 1B,
Okay.
which is Triple F, because as a male artist, there's very few times when a male artist steps into his own personal gender space and just speaks from the heart of men. And on this particular song, we wanted to be the voice of men, millions of men throughout the world. And so Triple F stands for, do you guys cuss on the show?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Triple F is fuck me, feed me, and be a fan of me. And because in writing the song, typically we write the songs that women want to hear. And men are often catering to the female listener.
Yeah.
But on this particular song, it's saying we're singing this song from the male's perspective, and we really want the women to really hear from the heart of men. And so with those 3 F's, I believe that if women would master those 3 things, fuck me, feed me, and be my fan, and that feed, obviously men need intimacy. So we can't get away from that. We need the intimacy, ladies. Feed me, yeah, it's great that you could cook, but feed my soul. And then be a fan of me, cheer me on, support me, affirm me, before I walk out of the house. And so again, mastering those 3 things, men will give you anything you want. And I think that was a very strong record that just really spoke from the heart of men to all the female listeners. Like, hey, for this one record, ladies, we need y'all to hear.
Open your ears, yeah. Open your ears and listen. No, I love that, man, and thank you for holding us down.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. We ain't get forgot about. Let me ask you this, Q. So, you've played, you've traveled, and you've performed all over the world.
Yeah.
Which place gave you like crazy energy? Audience, it was like, yo, did you hear them out there today? And it's why I like asking this question to my artists, because I get random answers like Switzerland, Brazil, like the place like, bro, we had 300 people out there, but that 300 people was the strongest fan base I've ever seen in my life.
It's so crazy, man. There's a massive appreciation for, our national fans.
Yeah.
That see us regularly.
Yeah.
In the calendar year, one may hit Chicago 8 times.
Right.
May hit Atlanta 8-10 times throughout the calendar year. But there's very few times within the year that you go to the territories abroad, Australia, Brazil, Japan, and all that. And so the fact that you spent enough time over there, and one thing I love about Bad Boy in our early years, they instilled in us the importance of spending time overseas and developing a fan base. And so at any moment, 112 could always go to Europe. We can always go to Germany, Australia, Japan, and we'll have real fans there, because once or twice a year, we'd go over there and we would service records just for that market, right? And then when we'd go over there, dog, can't speak a lick of English, but was sing your songs word for word. And that was when we learned that music is the universal language, and music can just tie and bridge certain language barriers. And so to answer your question specifically, I would say like Japan or somewhere like that. Because again, the moment the music cuts off, we can't even communicate.
Right.
You don't know what I'm saying. I damn sure don't know what you saying. But play that music, and I ain't even got to sing a word, because I can just put the microphone out there and they like,
and let all the words,
It's like, you can't even speak English, but you know my song.
Yeah.
Amazing, bro. So I would say all of the territories abroad.
And last question I've asked, just, you from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta's like, I mean, New York is strong.
Yeah.
I'm from the South though. So for me, Atlanta is,
where?
I'm in Dallas.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Atlanta is our music capital.
Yeah.
Like being from a place like that where you you just see so many people have success that come out of Atlanta in the music space. What's it like to like turn left and be like, oh yeah, I know so and so, turn right and be like, yeah, so and so, and like, we got Grammys over here, we got Grammys over here.
Yeah.
Like, what's it like to be from a city like that? Does it motivate you? Does it inspire you to be like, no, we gotta make sure we keep the keys down here in Atlanta? Like, what? Shout out to the A for once.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Atlanta. What's funny is in probably the early 90s, when you think about 112, Jagged, Monica, Usher, Outkast, and TLC, like we all were competing against each other in high school talent shows.
Oh, wow.
And we knew then that they got it. Something special about them. He's dope. Oh, and it was just a matter of time that we all got our opportunity.
Yeah.
And a lot of us got our opportunities with Atlanta-based record companies. It's just 112 went to New York to get our record deal, but we made sure we repped Atlanta all the way whenever we can.
Sure.
So it's like being a part of a graduating class.
Yeah.
Like you go do your reunions, you know, you're the alumni. And it's something that we wear proudly on our chest, man. The fact that we're from Atlanta. Atlanta became the music and entertainment mecca. And when you think about just it spanned genres. It's so many people from our city that are different genres, even country artists, R&B, hip hop, gospel. It's just so much talent was in Atlanta. We just needed the opportunities to be able to get this music out. And so it's nothing for, you know, us to always wear just the pride on our chest and on our backs that, yo, that's my guy Ludacris. That's my guy Usher. That's my girl Monica. Jagged Edge over there. Jeezy, T.I. Like,
so many.
That's all family, man. Yeah, man. So we just proud of what our city has become, and we all have played a part in Atlanta being recognized globally.
All right. I'm going to do this and just because I got you here and we're talking about Atlanta. All right, so you got to do a Mount Rushmore for Atlanta artists, all right? That's, the top four, just top four. And people, this question is not to knock anybody that he doesn't put on this, but I just want to know, like, who, for Q Parker, like, who is like, oh, they discography went crazy. They business went crazy. They just did an amazing job.
Any genre or just
any genre,
just music?
Any genre of just music. Just give me your top four.
Why you do this to me?
Because you had a chair.
Right. Okay. So I will say, I'm gonna say, Ludacris.
Okay.
Usher. Well, Usher reps Atlanta. He's from Chattanooga, but so we're gonna put an asterisk on Usher, but he's honorable mention in this regard because he ain't from Atlanta.
Okay. He's been there long enough though.
He's been there long enough. We got a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
We talking about Atlanta born. So T.I., Ludacris, Jagged Edge, 112.
Straight like that. I ain't mad at that list either.
Yeah,
not at all. Well, Brother Q, man, I appreciate you taking your time and stopping by on the check-in. Excited for the new music you got coming out. Excited to see your drip too. I like it. Your fashion.
Man, appreciate
you know what I'm saying? From the frame, I'm a recognize it from the frames. You know what I'm saying? To the chain, to the jacket, to the monochrome on the bottom there with the spice on the shoes. You know, I appreciate all of that. Yes, sir.
But I mean,
yes, sir.
I knew I had to represent. I was coming, you debonair, man.
Nah, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, brother. So we finished the episode with a statement. It's called Dear Black Man. All right, so here in just a second, I'm going to have you look at that camera.
Sure.
You're going to repeat after me. You're going to finish that statement. Now, while you get a chance to think about that, you guys out there that have heard another episode in season 6 of the Check-In with Black Menswear, where we're talking about being built different. My guy Q Parker, 30 years in the industry, still releasing amazing music. And still feeding into the brothers as well. I love that he tapped in with that on this album, tapping in for the brothers and representing us well. My guy Q Parker, thank you for joining us here on the check-in. You guys have to do 3 things: subscribe to the channel, like the episode, and share the episode. Because one thing that he said that's not just for music, it's about consistency gets you where you want to be, and being consistent and being prepared for when it's your time. No matter what industry you're in, that is a bar that we can all live by. So don't be stingy with this episode. You got to make sure that you share it out with somebody else. Now, Mr. Q Parker.
Yes, sir.
Repeat after me and finish this statement. Dear black man.
Dear black man, I see you. You have everything that needed. Understand that you were built with all of the things that are necessary for you to operate in your power and in your strength. Tap into all of those things. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be sensitive and soft and gentle, because even those things shows just the power that we have, man. And yeah, I see you and I love you.
And we love you all out there. Another great episode. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being authentic with us, my brother. We really appreciate it. And we'll see y'all next time.
This was good.